Urgent climate action has never been more clear than it is today. No one is experiencing the negative impacts of climate change more intimately than those living in least developed countries. For these communities, changing weather patterns and rising sea levels are more than just headlines. They are the realities that threaten lives, that force migrations, and that disrupt economies. During the UN General Assembly and the Climate Action Summit, thousands of people have gathered to demand action. The world is watching. High-level political leaders pledged support for the Least Developed Countries Fund managed by Jeff. These are the actions that are delivering resources to build resilience to those who need it the most, leaving no one behind.
So what we experience here today is extremely uplifting because this is about putting resources into a fund that serves the most vulnerable countries around the world, the ones facing the biggest impacts and the biggest challenges that are coming from climate change. These are the countries that didn't do what we are seeing today, were not responsible for the problem, and they are the ones that are on the front line of climate change impacts.
We are all facing climate change. We know that climate change is there, even in our country, even in Germany. The forests are dying in our country. But all this is nothing when we are looking to the least developed countries. Up to now, we are a little bit proud to be the biggest donor in this fund, and today we are able to give other 50 million euros to give it in this fund, because the fund is a marvelous working instrument. It just works to help the less developed countries in having resilient structures in their cities and in rural areas.
When I served in my two mandates as Special Envoy of the Secretary General on climate change, first of all, and then on El Niño and climate, I really valued the Least Developed Countries Fund. It works, it's accessed, it would work better if it was bigger and all that, but it is actually a really quite a good model.
I think LDC fund is geared more towards adaptation. So in our countries, it goes down to the local levels. So you see work on the ground.
The LDC Fund provides resources for people, empowering communities to build resilience in agriculture, early warning planning, and in their livelihoods. Vanuatu is on the forefront of climate change, ranked as the country most at risk of natural disaster by the UN University.
3 years ago, we had one cyclone event which cost us over 64% of our GDP in one event in 24 hours. One of the ways Vanuatu has already benefited from this fund is to be able to build back better, more resilient infrastructure. So it allows you to spend less time occupied with recovering and rebuilding. It actually allows you to do more of engaged in economic activities or bringing your children up or things like that, because you are less focused on the disaster because you are better prepared through the financing provided.
Financial ambition is key to facing our climate crisis.
I think the message is, it is very clear. The environment, rather the climate disaster, it's upon us. Climate change is real. So we need to do something about it. It's time to act now.
And today what we heard, and many of the countries are still determining the figures. We might have more towards the end of the week, and also towards the COP in Chile, we expect other donors to put money into this. So I'm really looking forward to $250 million in the fund by the end of the year in support of least developed countries.
It is important to have Jeff because it works. It shows that it works. It shows that the cooperation between the donors and the less developed countries just work.